The Titans have a new head coach. His name is Brian Callahan. Rand Carthon told everybody to call him Cal. Coach, what do you want to be called? Should we call you Brian Callahan or Callie? Where are you with this?
I don't have a huge preference. You guys can run with it as you will. I go by all of it.
There you go.
I like it. Head coach of the Tennessee Titans. How does that feel, man?
It's pretty surreal right now. Still, it's starting to sink in a little more as the days calm down. But like I said in my press conference, man, it's an incredible honor. It's humbling, and I know there's a lot of work ahead, and the exciting parts is just about to start. So, it's crazy. I'm sitting in the office as the head coach of the Titans, and it's awesome, man. It's really awesome.
So your dad has been a coach longer than you've been alive. I'm curious, were you able to break the news to him, and how did that how special was that conversation?
It was a great father-son moment. I called my wife first, and then I called my mom and dad, and just let them know that this is going to happen, pretty much right after I heard the news. And it was pretty cool. It was a great moment. He's super proud. I don't know how many guys are officially, fathers and sons that have been head coaches in the NFL, but I think it's a pretty small club, and what an awesome thing to be able to say, he's super proud and really excited for me.
My guess is you'll hear that little stat like a million times now. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Brian,
now it'll be everywhere.
Yeah, Brian Callahan, head coach of the Tennessee Titans, with us on 3HL.
Well, Coach, I know Miss Amy said today that she felt you and Rand just had this special chemistry right off the bat when you were sitting in that room. Did you feel that, and what was your past relationship with Rand?
Yeah, I'd never met Rand before. I never knew him. I've known of him, obviously his work in San Francisco, and I'm relatively close both professionally and personally with Adam Peters. And so when Rand first called me and said they wanted to interview me, I called Adam right away, and I just said, hey, what do I need to know? And he goes, he's one of the best people I've ever been around. So I said, well, that's a great start.
Yeah, right.
And then just as we got into the Zoom process and the interview process, we just see things very similarly. We see culture similarly. We see what we want the building to look like similarly. And I just felt an alignment from the get-go, and that to me was really important. And especially for some of that I never met and never worked with, and had no idea who he was, and it just felt right. That's the best way I can describe it. As the conversations went on, the more comfortable it became, and him and I just really became fast friends, if you will. It's the best way I can put it, because he sees things very similar to me, and that's really exciting.
So as you're sitting there and you're feeling this, are you sitting there thinking, man, I really hope that he's feeling the same way,
I hope it's not just me.
Yeah.
I do, yeah. Yeah, I do, yeah. Yeah, it's like, you got a crush on somebody and they don't like you anymore, but, that's what it felt like. I had everything throughout the process, from the first interview through the week into the in-person interview, it felt like there was a connection. And like I've said, when I walked into the actual in-person interview and I'm in the building and I'm getting to meet people and on the business side, and I'm getting to meet Amy in person, and I get to meet everybody, and we get to have this, finally you're not looking at a computer screen anymore. I was kind of tired of doing Zoom interviews.
Yeah.
And just to feel the connection, there's just an incredible energy here right now. And I felt it in the interview process, and I hope that how I came across today and what the fans felt is the same thing that I feel when I got on that Zoom. Like, man, I want to be a part of this. And I was about to make a gigantic plea to Rand at the end of my interview, like, what's holding you back from hiring me, man? What do I got to answer? Like, how do we make this? How do we make this happen? And I didn't have to have that. They offered me the job before I had to go do that. So let's just say it was mutual. I was relieved. I was excited, and I knew exactly that this is where I wanted to be.
Such an interesting process, and the way that you describe it. I don't know how you do, because we used to have to do radio on Zoom, and interpersonal, like, body language is such a part of the communication, right? Like, so it's got to be hard to interview there are only 32 of y'all, right? Like, so to interview for an NFL coaching position on Zoom. It's got to be kind of a pressurized situation to get your personality through that screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've learned some lessons. I interviewed 3 years ago in Denver. That was my first one and only one that year. And then last year I interviewed in Indy, and I interviewed in Arizona. And so I had a little bit of experience. And then this year I did Tennessee, Atlanta, Carolina, and the Chargers. And so I did 4 of them in a week. And I felt like by the time this whole process has been over, I felt like I've learned how to try to convey some of that on Zoom. It's not easy, but it's challenging, and it's not the way that you hope interviews go. But it's part of life now, I think, in a lot of places, and you just got to try to put your personality through a screen as best you can. But yeah, I much prefer to be in person.
Yeah, we're all like that too. Man, that sounds like speed dating. Brian Callahan, the new head coach of the Tennessee Titans, with us now. And here's the most exciting part of your day: not being, welcomed into the city as the head coach of the Titans, but actually jumping into what we call the boom boom room. Slay Dog?
Oh, have you been warned, Coach?
I may have been given a heads up, so let's do it.
Yeah, we know, Robbie.
We know Robbie. Coach Brian Callahan, man. Welcome to Nashville, the Music City, Cashville, the Tennessee Titans home. Now it is time for the real interview process. All of that Zoom meeting and everything was cool, but now it's time for the fans to get to know you just a little bit more. Now, the Boom Boom Room, this is a room when you step in, it's real personable. You just kick your feet up. It's just 2 guys having a good conversation, and nobody's watching but probably 1 million people outside the building. If you agree to these terms, you walk in the Boom Boom Room, the door is locked behind you, and there's only one person that can let you out. That's me if you answer everything truthfully to the best of your ability. Do you agree to these terms, Coach Callahan?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Yes.
Let's go.
One man on his way into the Boom Boom Room.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have the new Titans head coach in the Boom Boom Room, and we're going to call him Callie. We're throwing out the coach and everything, because we just 2 guys just sitting here on the couch having a good time, man. Coach, first and foremost, some little quick hitters, man. 3 favorite movies. Give me 3 favorite movies of yours that you got to have if you're on a deserted island.
Oh, man. Braveheart is one.
Ooh.
Absolutely.
Like
Braveheart is one.
Like that.
I would say Top Gun is 2.
Oh. The new one or the old one?
Both of them.
Oh, I like that. You can get it.
I'm going to jump in the Boom Boom Room real quick.
Wasn't
that incredible that the second movie was that good? Because they never are.
No, they never are. If you had to choose one, I'd still pick the original, but the second one was fantastic.
And your third?
And the third one, so Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, Morgan Freeman brought you in the Boom Boom Room, and he'll still be with you. I like that. Good choice. All right. To get a little taste of your music, 3 albums you got to have on a deserted island.
Oh, God, gotta have. I listen to all kinds of stuff.
Okay, me too.
Yeah, let's see. That's a tough one for me.
That's what the Boom Boom Room does.
And I'm probably going to change it the minute I hang up. Like,
that's cool.
Said that.
That's all good. We might airlift you something.
Out of everything you said today, that's what's going to stick.
It is. The only thing I'll be thinking about tonight is I said the wrong music. Dang it. All right, let's go. Let's go.
Stunning them.
All right, let's go. Led Zeppelin to start.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That gets me going.
Yeah.
I would say. Man, it's hard to.
I know it.
It's hard. This is hard. This is going to surprise you guys. But I'm a big E40 fan.
To the Bay? Take them to
yeah,
the
man. That's
Bay,
how I went to high
Cali?
school. That's about
Hey, you sure did. I forgot about that. Hey, okay, Callie.
Yeah, there you go.
I like that. You ain't even got to answer the third one then. Okay,
There you go.
You can start with E40. That did it for me.
You won.
All right, now they get a little bit harder for you, Callie. Now, right here.
Yeah, let's go.
You get the choice of an autobiography book or a biopic. Which one would you choose to be done?
On him?
On him. On you.
Okay.
I'd say an autobiography book.
Okay, now to the second part of that, who would narrate you? Who's going to narrate the book for you?
Let's see.
You got some good voices out there, man. You got me.
One's already been mentioned twice.
Yeah.
You got
yours is pretty silky right now. I like it.
That got a little romantic.
You try to win friends and influence people over here.
you got Morgan already on the island with you. You got Pacino out there.
I know.
Uh-huh.
I would say, let's say, let's go Kyle Chandler
Oh.
from Friday Night Lights.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
I
Your
like
eyes
that,
full of
Kelly.
hearts.
I like that right there.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving right along. What would you tell your younger self in any version, younger, the middle part, like high school to college, or this point being a professional? What is something that you would tell them that if you could go back and so they wouldn't falter? What would be a remark or something to tell them to look out
Advice to your
for? Advice
younger
to your younger
self.
self.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, man.
Mm-hmm. It could be you as a young one. It could be you as a pro. You only get one though. I'm stomping Coach right now.
Yeah, you're killing
This
it.
is a hard one.
Yeah, I like it.
This is way tougher than that Titans interview process,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
man.
He's
I'm
like,
telling you.
dude,
Yeah,
can
this is
you
way
just
tougher.
ask me football questions?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Guess what?
Just ask me about Derrick Henry, dang
I'll
it.
tell you what, since all these voices are in the boom boom room, let me tell you this.
Sorry.
Let me see this, Callie. Okay, so this is what we'll do. You think about that, and I'm going to ask you this one. This one's going to be even tougher.
Okay.
You need someone to start a game. You need someone to finish the game with a lead. You need someone to call the game, and you need someone to lead you on a winning drive. You got 4 guys that you got to use in a game. Derek Carr, Matthew Stafford, Peyton Manning, and Joe Burrow. I'm going to repeat. You need
Give it to me one more time.
You need all of these guys to play. You need someone to manage or call the game, meaning they can have a headset on. You need someone to take you on a game-winning drive. You need someone to start the game, and you need somebody to finish the game with you having a lead of about 6 points. How you gonna put these people up? I know it. The boom boom room don't play, Coach.
The one that's one of the I would say Derek Carr to call the game. Derek's incredibly intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
And got a great feel for football.
Nice.
I would say to win. What was the next one?
The next one was someone to take you on a game-winning drive, or someone to finish the game with a lead. You got a 6-point lead, and you need somebody to finish the game for you.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would take all 3 of those guys to go win the game.
But guess what? You got to use.
I got to use them all, right?
Yep, you sure
use
do.
them all. Do I have 2015 Peyton Manning?
You got each one in their prime, Coach. You got each one in their prime. That was a good one.
Yeah, let's go. Let's out of respect to the Hall of Fame, let's go Peyton Manning to win the game.
Okay. Yep.
Let's go, and I almost put Matthew Stafford in there because that's what he does too.
Yeah.
Let's go with a lead. Let's go with the lead just because he's the younger of the group. Let's go Joe Burrow with the lead, even though I want to put them all in there. Okay. And then what was the last one?
The last one is you need one to start the game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Let's do Burrow to start the game and Stafford to play with the lead.
Okay.
There you
I like that. I like that. Good.
Burrow
all right, Coach,
get you the lead.
Last one for you, Coach. And yeah, it will. This right here get you out of the boom boom room. You got to answer correctly. You got one choice. You got Skyline Chili, or you got Nashville's Hot Chicken on the menu. Which one you taking and why?
Oh, that's how you're going to end that?
That's how we got it. That's how we get it. Hey, the door can get unlocked.
That's the easiest they come. It's the Nashville Hot Chicken.
Yes!
Did he make it out?
Yeah, Coach Callie, you have made it through. Let him out the boom boom room, honk.
Well. Looks like you did good in the boom boom room. Hoo-wah.
Brian Callahan,
Well done,
the
Coach.
head coach of the Tennessee Titans, with us playing along. Thanks for doing that.
Of course.
I'm curious, your time in Cincinnati, back to football stuff, your time in Cincinnati, it was a struggle early. How were you guys able to come through that so quickly and cleanly?
Yeah, you learn a lot about yourself and when things go not according to plan. But the best thing that we did was we stayed consistent. We didn't really ride the ups and downs. We were focused on making sure we were building the right direction. We had a lot of great guys in the locker room. We needed to add more talent to compete with the teams that we were playing against. And so you didn't feel we were 0-11 at one point. I thought we were going to go 0-16, to be honest. And it was hard, but never felt like that. And that's how we knew that we were going to have a chance, that we had a bunch of guys in there that still tried to do things the right way. They still practiced hard. They played hard. We just weren't getting the results in the field that we were hoping for. And we knew that if we added some more players and more talent in some spots that we were going to get better. That's really exactly what happened. And the core of our team over that Super Bowl run and the AFC Championship game 2 years ago, those back-to-back AFC Championship appearances were a lot of the guys that were on that team. The core of those guys were still there, the Tyler Boyds and Joe Mixon and Sam Hubbard and Josh Tupou. And, those guys were the core of our leadership group in the coming years. And they kind of forged that identity in a really difficult situation as young players. So, but a lot of it was the consistency of the messaging and guys still believing in what was being told to them. And that's how we ended up where we were a couple years later.
Coach, along those same lines, you were with Zach Taylor from the get-go there, and he stepped in as a head coach and a first-time play caller, kind of similar, obviously, to what you're doing here. So I'm curious what is maybe the biggest thing that you learned from him along those lines of stepping in as a first-time head coach and play caller?
Just how important the people around you are.
Yeah.
Obviously that Zach and I's relationship was really good, and so we saw the game the same way. We communicated together really well, and so he leaned a lot on me to get everything ready for him for every meeting, every situation, third down, the red zone, and the rest of our offensive staff to really put a good plan in place. And what's kind of the play calling thing gets thrown around sometimes. As it's like this insane thing you have to handle. It's like the plan gets put together during the week. You get to Sunday and you've met, the plays have been ranked, the quarterbacks have had input. You're kind of calling off the sheet as you've planned to do. But what made us unique in Cincinnati was that we had a bunch of guys that were super sharp and could think quickly and on our staff. And so we were able to, when things didn't go as we planned, we could pivot really fast in game. And that to me is what good coaching is. The play calling itself, the table gets set through most of the week. By the time you get to Sunday, everything feels pretty good. They're just coming out of my mouth. And Zach, I tell you the same thing. Like the plays came out of his mouth, but there's a lot of work by a lot of people to get the game plan set. And the plan was sort of put in motion prior to the game even starting. And so that part to me is how I see it. It's hard to explain that if you're not involved in it.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what it is. But the important part for me is going to make sure I get the right people. I hire a great offensive staff that I can really lean on when I got to go be with the defense, or I have to be where my time gets taken away in other places. And that's the critical part of calling plays as a head coach is you got to have great people with you.
I'm glad you pointed that out because there's a lot of fans that are concerned about that, right? It's not knowing how
it's
it
the
works.
First question
it's
people
the
ask
first
us.
thing that people. Well, he's never called plays though, and now he's going to be a head coach and a play caller. So I'm glad that you explained that and pointed that out.
Yeah. Well, and then on the flip side too, I've been an offensive coordinator for 5 years. It's not like it's not like I haven't been involved in the game planning process and the play calling process on game day. Like this isn't new.
Yeah.
It's just like I said, just because the plays coming out of my mouth doesn't mean that this isn't the process that I've done for the last 5 years. And so I feel incredibly confident in that. And, it gets talked about a lot, but I think the conversation to me is not as relevant as people make it out to be.
Coach, you taught high school for a minute, correct?
I did for 2 years.
How did that help you being around a younger generation? How did that help you when it comes to communication with this generation of athlete?
It was incredibly formative for me in those 2 years. I was pretty young too.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I had a lot of answers like all young people do. And I found out that I didn't have any answers. That was what was the beauty of that experience is that I learned how to teach in a way that people respond to and how to be clear in what I'm asking. It really helped jumpstart how I want to coach and teach. And so that part, I still, and the relationship part is so important. And that's what makes high school sports so incredible is that you have a chance to really impact the young people at an age when they're very open to being impacted. And building those relationships with those kids. I talk to a bunch of them still to this day, the kids that I coach, and it's a great experience. It was huge for me as a young coach to learn what it meant to teach and communicate in a way that people can understand, and be able to do what you're telling them. And essentially, that's what coaching is, right? Yep. And so that part to me was a big part of my development, especially as young as I was then.
Well, that certainly sounds like leadership, doesn't it? Yeah, I like it. Coach, we got to talk about your quarterback, Will Levis. Yeah. What have you seen from him, I guess, in person, on tape, that you like, and potential-wise, just fill us in on kind of how you evaluate Will Levis.
Yeah, I've watched all his snaps, and I watched him coming out in the draft. And I had a high opinion of him then. And after I watched him play this year, I continue to have a high opinion of him. And what I like about him is he's physically very talented. He's big, he's strong, he can make all the throws. But what you see in his games this year in the NFL is just how competitive he is. Mm-hmm. And that wins for you in the NFL. If you have guys that physical tools and you got the competitiveness to match. And as I get to know his personality and how he sees the game, that's going to be a really big part of how we go about running the offense. But everything I see tells me that he's got a chance to be a really good player. And I'm excited about that. And that's, I want to get to work now. That's the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
There are rules against that, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's why they put them in place for people like me. But I'm incredibly excited about his potential and what I've seen and what he's done. There's a lot of growth that happens between your first year in the NFL and in your second. And I think what's going to be great for Will is he's going to have the reps to go with it. He's going to have all the OTAs and training camp, and he's going to feel a whole lot better going into this season than he did last year. And I think that's the key is you're trying to kind of steadily get better every day. And for him, it's going to be a big part of his process. But as far as the tools go, I mean, he's got a full toolbox, and it's going to be a lot of fun to see what tools we get to use.
So I have a random question for you. I got to cover in college football. I got to cover Levis at Kentucky the year that he had Liam Cohen as his OC, and was phenomenal. And Liam, I felt like, really got the most out of him during that time. Do you have a relationship with Cohen? Have you talked to him about what worked for Levis or any of that? Or am I like way too early to ask this?
Yeah, it's probably a little early. I know Liam well. Obviously his time with the Rams, and he knows Zach as well. So, we come from the same place. So a lot of what he did in Kentucky that year, you'll see some elements of that in what we do here. But Liam's a fantastic football coach, and he's done a really good job. I got a good relationship with him, but as far as reaching out to him about Will at this point yet, no. I had a conversation with him about Will previously, but he, as far as staffing and all that stuff goes, we're in the infancy of that portion. So that'll come as it comes.
Gotcha.
Well, we appreciate the time. Brian Callahan, new coach of the Tennessee Titans, and glad you're on this sideline now as you get the Bengals next season here in Nashville. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you, if you don't know, like that is still a major sore spot in this market. That game that y'all won, despite Burrow getting sacked nine times. So we're glad you're here, man. Enjoy Nashville, and can't wait to get to know you better, man. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on. And, again, looking forward to chatting again soon.
Thanks, Coach.
There you go. Brian Callahan, the Tennessee Titans head coach. Callie. Getting positive reviews in the chat.
Yes, indeed.
He's the E40. That's what got him.
E40 got him.
E40 got him. You and that booty.
All right, Tracy Wolfson.
E40, man, that Slay was in.
Yeah, that did.
You just ended that series of questions.
We didn't need no third album.
You're like in court. You're like, I'm good now.
I would have been making music for darn near 30 years.
Right.
This is a catalog.